Hey everyone, it's Michelle Dawson, Nurse Deb from Halloween Ends. You are turning into Cineifier. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Michelle Dawson. Let's sit down by the fire and chat.
Why, hello, everybody. This is Eric Vornoff, host of the Cineifier podcast, where the horror lives and you survive. I'm here with my next special guest. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Ashlee Lawhorn.
How about that you tell my audience what exactly is it that you do?
Yeah, so I'm an actress and a drummer and an amateur boxer. Primarily, I am an actor, and so that's my career. I do drumming on the side, and with acting, it is more so screen acting, so commercials, film, short films, feature films, anything like that.
Nice, awesome. Well, that all sounds certainly very, very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. It is. It's a roller coaster sometimes. I will say that.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's crazy. It can be depressing. It can be happy. It's all over the place. But that's what the journey's about, you know. So it's good.
Certainly, yeah. And probably one of the most common things that I hear from people is that, yeah, if you're going to pursue that industry, you really do need to develop pretty thick skin about it.
Yeah, you do. And honestly, if you don't develop it, you probably won't stay in it. Is my
Yep.
kind of thought process. It is tough out here. You just gotta kind of take that mentality of it's not personal. You know, this isn't an
Yep.
attack on me. It's just I didn't fit this part, or we don't align. You know, that kind of stuff. But it can get, if you let your emotions get in it, it can get pretty tough. Yeah.
Certainly, yeah. It's something that you really have no choice, but if you want to pursue it, you really truly got to build that resilience.
Yeah. And I think honestly what helps too is just, putting yourself out there. Like the more you do it and the more times you get rejected or whatever, it starts to hurt a little less each time.
Yep.
And so yeah, you just got to keep going out there and doing it, repetitive cycles, and it kind of gets easier as you go. So it's the good thing.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And one of the ways as to how I deal with all that rejection is that every no eventually will get you closer to your yes. But just as long as you don't give up.
Exactly. No, I feel the same way. That's my mentality is, if one door closes, that door wasn't meant for me.
Yeah.
Or, if I was already through that door and it closed, then maybe it's time for me to walk away from it. And the next door that is for me is going to open and it's going to be even better. And, when you release that control, oh my God, things get so much easier.
Certainly, yeah. And I also feel like that you also need to be open to opportunities. Like a really good example, Jamie Lee Curtis has been vocal saying how she's not a fan of horror movies. But yet, ironically enough, out of all movies that got her name out there, it was the original Halloween.
Yeah, right. I mean, it is ironic. I didn't even hear that. But that's hilarious that she's like, I don't even like horror movies.
Oh, it is, yeah. And but what I also do appreciate about Jamie Lee Curtis is that she also has been honest in saying that, yeah, if it wasn't for Halloween, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Yeah, she's acknowledging, like she didn't plan probably on taking that route, but sometimes life just takes you on the course that it takes you and it works out. You just got to trust it. Trust the journey.
Certainly, yeah. And I had something similar happen to me, like where I hated country music for the majority of my life. But then this year, I actually was in a country music video, and boy, am I glad that I took that opportunity, because originally I was just going to be an extra, but I was at the right place at just the right time. And then the director spotted me, and he offered me a bigger role where I have a beer bottle smashed in my head, and I have a fist fight scene. I'm like, bring it on!
So cool, yeah. Just those things just happen and you can't really explain it because like you were saying, you just happened to get seen by the director when you were being an extra and stuff. So that's awesome. What music video was it? Can you share?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I definitely can share it since it's been out since like early August. But yeah, it's for an artist named Cecilia Rose, and the video is called Hoedown.
Okay, all right. I'll have to check that out.
Certainly, yeah. And honestly, I would say out of all acting roles I have done, that one by far was the most fun.
Really? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah, you get a bottle smashed over your head. You get to get in a little fight. That's awesome.
right,
That's always fun. Give me the action, right?
right. And what made the experience even better was that everybody in that bar like was cheering like during that fist fight scene, and oh man, it was so much fun.
Oh my gosh. I bet the energy was just electric with everybody
Oh,
like
it
hyping
was.
it up. And whenever you're on set anyways, like everyone's so in the zone and just like hooked in. So I can't even imagine. That was probably awesome.
Oh, certainly, yeah. And then, what made it feel so much better afterwards was that after I got done filming that, everybody like was cheering me on, and yeah, it's like it kind of felt like a Rocky moment where it's like, yes,
Yeah. You just ran the steps. You're so excited. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
victory.
Certainly. And so yeah, and so now that you know about my acting role that I had the most fun with,
Yeah.
now I'm curious about what yours would be.
Okay. Well, so I've done numerous, feature films and short films, and I've had a lot of really great roles that I've gotten to play. But one that stands out to me is a more recent role that I was able to do, and it was for a film that's actually premiering tonight called The Last
Ooh,
Nightmare, Part One. And
awesome.
it's a Michael Myers fan film, and it is done by Braden Timmons and Zach Dion. And it'll be on YouTube tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. West Coast. Yeah, West Coast time. And so basically, my scene in this movie is smaller, but it happened to be one of the more action-packed scenes.
Right.
And with the boxing background and with like I love everything physical. So not only do I love the acting aspect, but I'm like, oh, you want me to do some stunts? Let's go, let's do it. Like that stuff's fun, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so for this one, my friend Chad plays Michael Myers, and he's a big dude. He's like 6'5" or something like that, 6'3".
Wow.
He's just a big guy. And for the scene, our stunt coordinator Sean wanted to basically he was like, do you care to get like thrown around? Do you care to do whatever? And I said, yes, let's do it. Like throw me, like let's do all this stuff. And so what was so fun about this scene and this character is that it wasn't necessarily like the storyline for me in this one. It was the fact that I just got to play and have fun and do the stunt where I'm like flying through the air, I hit the ground, like all
Wow.
of these different things. And yeah, it was just such a fun experience to let loose. And plus I was friends with these guys anyways prior. So, you're with your buddies, you're making a film, and yeah, just the physicality of it was just so much fun. And it was really one of my smaller roles, but I loved it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I would say that that's what matters most is that you do have fun.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of like those little nuggets of, the career when you're like, oh, this was so much fun. This was amazing. Like those are kind of what keep you going steadily.
Right, yeah, certainly. Well, that's very exciting that knowing that fan film is going to premiere tonight. What is its name again?
It is The Last Nightmare, Part 1, and
Okay.
it'll be on YouTube. Yep. And it's also, if you go to my Instagram or Facebook, I'll put the link there too. That way you can see the link on there.
Okay, cool, awesome, yeah. But yeah, I definitely would love to check that out, and especially considering that I am a big fan of the Halloween franchise, and B, the time of year, and also C, considering that I actually had Michelle Dawson on this podcast, who actually was in Halloween Ends, and so
That is so cool. Yeah. See,
yeah,
it's perfect. It's a perfect fit. You got to check it out then.
yeah, certainly, yeah, and but yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when they made the original Halloween, the budget was so low, like that they couldn't afford to like make their own mask, and so what they did is that they went to a store and they bought a $2 William Shatner mask, and they painted
Yes.
it white, and they opened up the eye holes, and they tore off the sideburns, and
Yeah, no, I heard that. I heard that, and also with the pumpkins, because it wasn't the time of season for pumpkins, and so
Uh-huh.
they had like one pumpkin, and they had to get the scene where I forget the kid's name.
Tommy Doyle.
Tommy, yeah, where Tommy
Yeah,
falls with the pumpkin. They had like one shot to get that fall with busting the one pumpkin that they had, and I just thought that was so cool because it's like it is this huge thing, but it started out in an indie budget, like in an indie space, you know, with
yeah,
people just coming together to create something cool.
yeah, and that's actually something that I did not know about how they had that one pumpkin, and I can only imagine like just how Brian Andrews Field felt. I can only imagine just how he felt knowing that that was his one shot, and that knowing that he could not screw that up.
Oh my gosh, the pressure was probably on. Like, and I think actually it might be on Netflix. The Movies That Made Us. Have you
Yeah, yeah,
seen
yeah.
that?
Yes, I
Yes.
have.
That's where I got that from, and I love that series. If anyone listening, if you guys have not seen The Movies That Made Us, you need to go check it out because it is like all behind the scenes stuff on these movies, and it is such a cool, just interesting show to watch.
Yeah, certainly. And I believe that they also made an episode about the original Friday the 13th, which would make sense considering that they made one on the original Halloween. So,
Right? Yeah. I wish they would do more because I haven't seen any more come out, but I'm like, it's just so interesting to see where these movies where they came from and how they developed, and you know, they come from these some from small budgets and just exploded and ended up becoming franchises and
yeah,
all this stuff. It's crazy how one thing can trigger just numerous other events, you know.
certainly. Yeah. And I mean, at that time when they made the original Halloween, they had no idea what it was that they had. And I mean, of course, they wanted that movie to make money. It's because that's the whole point to making a movie. Is to make your budget back, just so in that way that you can make more movies afterwards. But I mean, at that time, they had no idea that it was going to be the first installment of one of the biggest horror movie franchises of all time.
Yeah, like it's wild to think about. And even for actors, you know, if you're in these lower budget films, it's like you never know. Somebody might see that and pick that up. A bigger production company might say, "Hey, that's awesome. I want that. Like we're going to blow that up."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Certainly, yeah. And it's actually rather sad about how I will hear people who say, "Oh, it's an independent film. Nobody will see it." Okay, Terrifier 3 came out not too long ago. It's an independent film, and it beat Joker 2 at the box office.
Like that is insane,
It
right?
is.
It's like it doesn't matter if it's indie or not. Like it doesn't matter. Like if it's good and people want to see it, they're going to see it, and it's going to
Yep.
do well if yeah.
And on top of that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre also was an independent film. And and then yep, and then that also, just like Halloween, ended up becoming one of the biggest horror franchises of all time.
Yes, and it's kind of funny too, like thinking about the kills and stuff, even for Halloween, like there's no blood, there's
Nope.
no anything like that. It is so like stripped down and basic, and it is just so well done. And like you never know what's going to come from the things that you work on and what you put out into the world. So it's really cool to see that crew kind of just blow up like that.
Certainly, yeah. And I mean, you probably will concur, but one of the things that I think is so effective about Halloween is just hearing that iconic, creepy theme song, the dun 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 dun.
Yes. You hear it and like you get the goosebumps on the back of the neck because it's like, oh
Yeah,
takes
yeah,
you right back to the film.
it just sends shivers down your spine, and yeah, and knowing that it's such a simple song, but it's so effective.
It is. Oh my gosh, it totally is. And like it's so well known at this point where it's like if anybody hears that on a piano, they're like, "Oh, Michael Myers." Oh,
Yeah,
Halloween.
yeah,
Like that's saying something. Like that's huge, you know?
certainly, yeah. And man, according to research about that, so John Carpenter, who is the director, scriptwriter, and also the composer, He said that he came up with the Halloween theme. It's because of his father taught him 5/4 time on the drum, and so pretty much it was to teach him like like how to have like that beat.
Yeah.
And then John Carpenter converted that to the drums to the piano.
That is so cool. I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, that's really neat.
Oh, it is, yeah. And in my own opinion, out
Mhm.
of all horror movie theme songs, I definitely think that is the best one.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I think so too. It's the most, like in my mind, it stands out as the most iconic. Like I love
Yeah.
the others, but that one's just, oh, there's something about it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and I also can't help but wonder, how does William Shatner feel knowing that one of the most iconic, you know, uh, one of the scariest movie villains of all time is his face?
Right? Like, yeah, do you feel good about that? Do you feel kind of like,
Weird.
yeah, weird? Like, everyone's afraid of my face now? If it's like, that's a good question. That's funny.
It is, yeah. And I guess that means William Shatner has a scary face.
Yes, man. Oh.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as if afterwards if he tried to ask for royalties.
Right? I mean, I would if I'm like, hey, you guys are
Yeah,
using my face, hey, maybe throw some cash my way.
yeah, certainly. So it sounds to me that you are a big horror fan.
Oh yeah, I love horror. I have loved it since I was little, and my mom's really the reason for that. I remember, so my birthday is October 27th, and so I always
Oh,
have, yeah, it's coming up, and so I always have like Halloween birthday parties and stuff growing up, and my mom, she is sick. She loved like torturing us with, horror stuff and scary movie stuff. And I enjoyed it. I really loved it. And all my friends, when they'd come over, they'd be like, oh, great. Sandra's gonna scare the crap out of us today.
yeah.
And I'm just eating it up. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. So yeah, my mom kind of instilled that in me.
Awesome. And so would you say that it was one horror movie that really started all that, or what?
Um, No, I would say many over time because I can't even remember the first horror movie I actually saw. I know there was an instance when I my family rented Jeepers Creepers and we were watching it in the living room and I was younger at that point in time, but I'd been watching, scary movies and stuff, but that memory really sticks with me over the other ones of watching Jeepers Creepers and just being so scared of this guy. And then even on top of that, the first one, the first actual like kind of scary movie, kind of like laughable scary movie, Leprechaun. That guy scared me to death. I had nightmares as a little kid of him chasing me around, and like it was terrifying. But I loved it. I'm like, it was an adrenaline rush, you getting to watch the scary movies and stuff.
Yeah, and then of course now I can imagine as an adult when you watch Leprechaun now, it's really not all that scary now.
Kind of.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, if I'm by myself in the dark, I probably won't watch the Leprechaun. But if somebody's here, or like, if I'm not by myself, yeah, I'm totally fine. I've got a safety net, so he can't get me. So it's okay.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I feel like that once it happens in your childhood, it's definitely very easy for it to carry on throughout your life. So
Oh yeah. Well, and it's one of those things like I'll tell people and they'll just start cracking up because they're like, the leprechaun, seriously? Like that's what scares you? I'm like, yes, he's so scary looking and like he's got magical powers, like he can mess you up, And that's
oh
scary.
yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, especially as long as you just don't mess with his gold.
Right. Exactly. I'm thinking ahead. I'm not ever doing that, so I'm safe.
Good. And so would you say that it was the horror genre that really inspired you to like pursue acting and all that?
Um I wouldn't necessarily say it was just horror. I
Okay.
kind of just really loved mimicking movies. Like from a very, very young age, I would, like all kids, we play pretend and do all that stuff. But
Right,
I
of course.
found myself after watching a movie, I would mimic what the characters did in the movie, and I would like be stuck on it, and I would be like hyper fixated on, what scenes they did, and I would just kind of do that kind of stuff growing up, and I didn't really think of it as acting or anything until I got older. And then I was like, oh, this totally makes sense now why I did that and why I always, put a camcorder up and would do interviews on this camcorder of myself and like, do these little skits and shows and stuff. So it kind of all makes sense now that I've started acting and have been on this journey. But when I was younger, it really just was mimicking and playing pretend.
And and just to know that all of that happened in the past definitely did foreshadow where you are currently at.
Yeah, right. It's kind of crazy, like to think about that, before you even realize what you want to do in life, sometimes that stuff's just laid out for you. You don't see it for a while, but eventually, if you're lucky, you kind of fall into it, and it's great.
Certainly, yeah. And so yeah, so what actually was your first acting role?
Yeah, so my first acting role was back in 2021, I believe, and it was a smaller little series that was going to be it's in production and stuff, or it was in production, and whenever you're new to acting, you got to take any gig. You feel like you need to take any gig, and you kind of do to build your resume, to build your confidence, to learn and
Certainly.
grow. And so I took this project on, and it was non-paid. I had to drive like 3 hours, and it was for like one scene, and it was like there and back in a day. And it was very minimal, but I just remember like being on that set. I was so scared because I'd been in classes for a year prior to that. I really dedicated myself to learning before I took on my first role. But it was just, yeah, it was so scary and it was so unknown to me. But like thinking back now that I drove 3 hours for some, and it didn't even, nothing ended up happening with it. Like he shut down production after that. So I was like,
Oh,
man,
I'm
I drove
sorry.
6 hours in one day for like one scene. And, but that's the name of the game. You do that kind of stuff when you want it, you got to go get it. And that's how you start.
Yeah, that, and I've also even heard stories like about how some actors' scenes will get cut, and sometimes even their name even won't show up in like the credits.
Yeah,
So
that's tough.
that's
I never think that's right. I'm like, if somebody's coming to give their time, like with scenes getting cut, I understand, but with not, crediting somebody or at least throwing their name in there as a thank you at the end of the credits, like, they're giving you their time and their energy and stuff. So I'm kind of like, throw it in there. It's not a big deal.
right, yeah, and especially considering that their time is something that they're never going to get back, and I can imagine that afterwards that they must have felt so angry, considering that they probably felt like they wasted their time.
Yeah, and they were probably really excited about it if it were a bigger film that ended up happening and they didn't get it. So yeah, that would be really tough. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, and that's one of the things where I feel like that thick skin that we talked about
Yeah,
earlier really needs to come into play.
yeah, you got to develop it and let that stuff brush off. It's not that important at the end of the day. What's important is, are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you learning and growing? Are you being kind to others? Are you making a difference somewhere? So
Oh
it's,
yeah, certainly so. And I mean, life is just way too short to not go do what you love, and then ultimately you might as well should just go do what you love.
yeah, no, I wholeheartedly with you, my friend. I believe that to the end of time. I'm like, you should never let anything stop you. If you want to do it, go do it. Even
Yeah, yeah.
if it's starting with reading books about what you love, or watching YouTube videos, or if you don't have access to classes or things like that for the hobby or the career you want to pursue, it's like there are always options with where you can start. And then you can start building off of that. You don't have to go from 1 to 100 it's all a building and stepping stone type of system. So
Yeah, and and it's also one of those things where people shouldn't go into it just expecting that they're going to get this overnight success. It's something that you have to work for.
oh yeah, definitely. And I think actually, I had talked to my business coach, Anastasia Edwards, about this the last time I met with her, and I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why people burn out in the industry is because, they expect these results to come in so quickly. And when they don't see those results, they just give up. Or it's kind of like a woe is me type thing. And it's like, no, like it's not you. You just have to keep going. And if one door doesn't work, try a different route. There are so many different varieties of things that you can do,
Oh yeah.
networking and just going to events. Like you could go to an event and somebody start chatting it up with somebody and end up in their movie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I've also even met people who use their age as an excuse. And I mean, going back to horror films, Tobin Bell, who
Mm-hmm.
was Jigsaw in all the Saw movies, he didn't start acting until he was in his 40s. And then when the original Saw first came out, he was in his 60s. And then Tobin Bell didn't make it until when he was in his 60s. And then it goes to show, you know, and it goes back to what you said. You just got to keep at it. And
Yes.
it doesn't matter what your age is, as long as you keep doing it, as long as you don't give up, you you will eventually make it.
Yes, no, 100%. You were right on. And I think too, a big part of that is having a good support system as well.
Yep, yep,
And,
yep.
in the entertainment industry and in your personal life, like to have those outlets of people that are encouraging you, pushing you, want to see you succeed, and are genuinely like proud of you and let you know that is huge. It goes such a long
Certainly,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, certainly so. It's because that if you don't have that support system, it definitely is going to catch up to your mental health.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you kind of feel like you've got somebody backing you up.
Yep.
Like if you're feeling low, like somebody else is going to step in and be like, "Hey, I'm proud of you. That was really good. Like you should keep going. You should do this now." Or like you should I have so many ideas for you, and it kind of gives you that little spark of, "Oh, okay, I'm not just doing this for nothing. Like people are enjoying this." And even if, your stuff isn't out there, even to have people just enjoy watching your journey of that's really cool too. Such a nice thing.
Yeah, certainly. And I can't help but feel like that goes back to my Rocky analogy, just knowing that all these people are cheering you on. And therefore, like when you get knocked down in that ring, it's a
Mhm.
motivator for you to get back up.
Yeah, exactly. You won't stay down for long. If you've got the right support system, you'll get right back up and they'll pretty much give you a good kick in the butt. Like, hey, come on, you got to keep going. Don't let it. I know so many times when like if I feel down about an audition or if something negatively impacted me and I'm just kind of really feeling stuck or just icky from whatever's happening, I'll have people in my life be like, Ashlee, you're in your head too much. Like you're overthinking. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. You did great. Or they'll remind me of something I knew about, but I'm such in this negative state that I didn't even think about it. And so that's so helpful too. Like to have them reminding you and uplifting you. It's huge.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And and but also no one's going to believe in you until you believe in yourself.
Yep, exactly. People, and they can see that too. And that's what even casting directors, like they'll mention that, they can tell in self tapes if somebody is too desperate or if, they're having a bad day, like that stuff translates on camera and they can see it. And if you're in the audition room, they can feel it and see it. And so, yeah, just one of those things where it's like, you got to just keep going, got to keep going.
Certainly, yeah. And but yeah, and so besides the Halloween fan film, and besides that one role that they had to drive a few hours out for, tell us about some of the other acting experiences that you've had. Like you said, you did a few commercials. What exactly were they commercials for?
Yeah, so I've done commercials for Petland. It is a big pet store franchise. So I did a spokesperson commercial for them. I've done commercials for Makita Tools. I've done commercials for Stanley Steamer and Cheryl's Cookies here in Ohio. It's a cookie dispensary and stuff. So I've kind of done like the smaller and the larger scale commercials. And what's kind of cool, or actually not cool but interesting, is some of the indie film sets that I've been on have been more attentive to actors and to like the talent and stuff than actually some of the commercial films that I've been on, with like bigger budgets and with PAs and actual like people that are supposed to be kind of guiding and taking care of the talent along the way and letting them know what's coming up next. And and I came back after doing one of the commercials. I came back and I told some of my filmmaker friends, I was like, it made me really thankful that our community of indie films really are like raising the standard too for how you treat talent, how you treat crew, like just making sure everybody's comfortable, happy, and knows what's going on and not left in the dark and things. So it was a weird thing that I noticed for sure.
Yeah, and it's rather interesting that you said that, because I actually did take an independent film course over the summer. I don't know if you ever heard of a thing called indie films ins and outs.
No, I haven't.
But I definitely highly I definitely highly do suggest that you do. But one of the things that he said is like that pretty much if there's a bad apple on set, and now it's one thing if they generally messed up and if they have accountability and own up on it, because I mean ultimately we all do have our flaws.
Oh yeah.
And we're not all perfect, but if they continuously are going to cause problems, it's going to cost you your budget, it's going to cost you your reputation, and ultimately, if you're going to have that bad apple on set, probably the best thing that you can do is to get rid of them.
Yes, no, 100%. And I've been on sets where the director or talent, we've had those bad apples, and it really does it affects morale, and it really causes tension on set. And it's like sometimes you just don't know if you're walking on eggshells, and it can get pretty intense, and it can affect everything, even down to like editing and getting like reshoots done or whatever. So yeah, that's a huge thing too to watch out for, is the bad eggs on set. Sometimes watch out for them.
Yeah, and oh man, the kind of people who you have to walk on eggshells with, it's so exhausting. It's like basically it feels like even if you tap their shirt ever so slightly, it's like even if you tie your shoes the wrong way, it's like even if you wear your watch the wrong way, it's like even that will upset them.
Yes, and you're like, sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't, and then you're like, can you make up your mind? Like, which thing is going to make you go off? Like, what are we looking at here? What are we working with?
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, it goes back to that classic saying that you just really just can't please everybody, which I feel like that, which I also feel like a lot of actors need to realize too. It's like, no matter how good that you do, you're just not going to make everybody happy.
Absolutely, and that's a part of that thick skin too, because I'm very vulnerable with like my mental health, and with anything that has to do with, I love psychology, and I love like learning about my personality and other personalities. Like I just love that stuff. And one thing I've identified about myself in the past is that I have been a people pleaser, and it affected me when I first started doing this career, because you can't be a people pleaser in this career, because that's not what they want. And even whenever you're, auditioning for something, you don't want to audition with the intent to try to give casting what they want, because sometimes casting doesn't know what they want. And so it's like to accept yourself and to genuinely just be you and embrace the vulnerabilities, embrace those negatives, and be okay with not making everybody happy. That's where you're ultimately going to find the success, is just continuing with that mindset. And I've seen myself grow a little bit here from from starting this career with dropping the people pleasing more so and just accepting myself and realizing that, hey, it doesn't matter if they like me. I like me. And I know I did good. And that helps tenfold.
Oh, certainly, yeah. And and I feel like that what you had to deal with is something what a lot of other people, can relate to. And I mean, just feeling like that if we don't live up to that standard, well, then something's wrong with us, and it puts
Yeah.
pressure on us, and it makes us feel like that there's something wrong with us if we don't,
Yeah.
if we don't. But ultimately, you're doing your well-being a huge favor, like by not trying to please everybody. It's because what matters, you're being true to who you are.
Exactly. And I mean that it sounds so simple too, at face value, but it really is. It can be a hard thing to do, to accept yourself. But truly, if you just do the work and go one step at a time and maybe, be easy on yourself, give yourself grace while you go through these transitions of learning and growth, it gets easier. It gets way easier.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And yeah, and I mean, it definitely takes a lot of courage, like for somebody to realize, okay, this is something that I need to work on about my character. And I mean, of course, it won't be fixed overnight. Something that
Mhm.
you have to work at. But hey, as long as you acknowledge it and as long as you work towards it, that's ultimately what matters most.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think too, along with that, I want to add like knowing yourself and really doing that internal work can help so much, even with plugging into the characters that you play. So, like, that's a part of the psychology part that I love too, is like, not only are you able to grow personally and I learn about yourself, but you're helping yourself in your career because at that point, the more you know you, the more you're able to identify things in others and connect with others based
Yeah.
on yourself. Like, yeah, and it's such a cool thing. And so it's like it's hard, but once you get used to being uncomfortable and getting down to the nitty-gritty, it gets easier and you're able to play a lot more and you'll figure out where you connect in each character that you play and that kind of stuff. So it's all full circle, I feel like.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And yeah, and so you mentioned how you're interested in psychology. I'm just curious, did you ever play a psychologist in a movie, or if not, I can imagine that that would be a role that you totally would be interested in.
Actually, I so that's funny you asked. I am going to be playing a psychiatrist in a feature. I know I'm going to be playing a psychiatrist
Awesome.
in a feature next year. And actually, Zach Dion, the DP and other director of Last Nightmare, that's coming out tonight, the Halloween fan film, he will be directing it, and he also wrote it. And so he had brought that role to me, and he said, "Hey, I think you would really enjoy this, and you would be pretty good at it." And I was like, "Heck yeah!" I was like, "Psychiatrist, I am in!" And it's like kind of evil psychiatrist too, which was even better because I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, a little twist in there. So
Interesting.
yeah, I'm excited for that one because I haven't gotten to play that yet. And even if I got to play like a psych patient or something, I would love that too. Get a little unhinged, like.
Right. Yeah. And so with that role, I mean, I guess in just your own view, do you feel like that is fate?
I kind of do. I feel like things they genuinely like do work out like the way that they're supposed to. And I got my psychology degree, bachelor's degree back in 2019, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know, anything. I was like, well, psychology is a generic degree. I could get any kind of job. I just need the
Right.
degree, right? It's like in this economy, I just needed the degree. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I got that, and once I started acting, I was like, holy smokes, this actually parallels each other perfectly because there's so much psychology behind acting as well and behind
Yeah.
the
There is.
characters. And yeah, it's just such a cool thing. So I definitely feel like fate, I feel like the right doors just opened for me and it
Yeah.
connected me with the right people and good people too. I mean, these guys are my friends. Like I've met so many amazing and wonderful people since starting in the entertainment industry, and it's been a beautiful journey, really.
Yeah, and yeah, and well, and I certainly do wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, certainly, of course, and yeah, and I never thought that I ever would have thought to have made that connection with, psychology and actors, but now
Mhm.
that you say that, it really truly does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It has to do with like it kind of helps you understand the character a little bit more,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially if you're playing somebody that you don't connect with or you don't necessarily understand and you're like, I wouldn't say this, I wouldn't do these things. Well, with the psychology aspect and with knowing yourself, you're able to be like, oh, if I was in, what would make me act like that? What would it take to make me do the things that this character's doing? Or you can kind of plug and play, you know? It's all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. And I mean, of course, it's very helpful with acting, considering that. Well, I mean, there are some characters that you can play that are similar to you, but ultimately,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, they are still not you.
Exactly. Yeah, and I that's the fun part of acting too, is figuring out, in a character what relates to me and what doesn't relate to me. And the things that don't relate to you, it's like an investigation type thing
Yeah.
because now you're trying to figure out, oh, well, why would they do this? Oh, okay, what were they feeling when this happened? Or it is so much fun and it's like, you're playing pretend, just it's the adult version of playing
Yeah.
pretend. Like it's fun.
Yeah, yeah, certainly so. And now, of course, I know I can't speak on the behalf of every actor, but I can't help but feeling that that's why a lot of actors become just so passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure that has to be a big part of it because it's I think a lot of people like figuring things out. Like we feel
Yeah.
good as humans when we can figure something out. And when you're handed a script and you have to dissect it and investigate and do all of your pre stuff before you actually start auditioning or filming, it's fun. It's like kind of a game. It's a little addicting because you're like, oh, now I want to solve this puzzle. I want to see
Yeah.
why this is happening. What is going on? Like it's fun. It's a game.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And but yeah, if you had any sort of dream role, what would you say would be your dream role?
Thank you for watching, and stay tuned next week for part 2. Stay scared and stay cinefied.